Alright, so another 2 weeks have gone by, and that means it's time for another sprint review. Now, on the planning for this sprint was to kind of roadmap the future few months a bit to work towards my Steam page release and to figure out what I'd have to finish in order to release that. And I also wanted to get a base model and modify that for our protagonist Eli Mercer. All right, so going into Obsidian where I keep all my notes, we have this Steam page roadmap here on the left, and there is 3 points to talk about. First of all, what do I want to have finished? Let's take a look at that first. So for our protagonist, Eli Mercer, I just want a full final version of what he's going to be. So in a minute, I'll show you how far I've gotten with that, but I want that to be finished before I release the Steam page. Then for the environment, I want the home base finished, the thing that I've been working on for quite a while already, both the interior and exterior for which includes textures for every element that exists. I want the blocks of buildings that are going to be around the spawn location to be finished. I want the backdrops that are going to be relevant to be completely placed. So these aren't areas that you're going to be able to walk to, but areas that you'll be able to see. I want to have the server exterior done, the server room exterior, which is part of a big mission in the game. And then I also want to do a little part of the interior that I'm planning to use for a trailer. Then in terms of NPCs, for the main monsters, the addicted people, I want a few different NPCs, not final versions yet, because then I'll be modeling until I die, I think. Well, maybe not until I die, but until halfway next year, probably. So just models that look fine enough for an early trailer. And then the same goes for the addicted NPCs. Then for the custom OS that this game is going to be built around, I want to be able to show a code editor. So just a fancy looking input field in this case, because it doesn't need to do anything yet. It's just there for the visuals. And then I also want to be able to show a command prompt doing something. Then for the shots and cutscenes that I want to add into the trailer, I want the corkboard that I showed in the garage earlier. I want to show that with a drawing of the Mustang that used to stand in that garage, and some Varian related papers in the center. With I believe I talked about this in the last video, with the little strings attached like a detective's corkboard. I also want a shot of Eli running away from a or multiple monsters in the server room corridor. Then I want the opening cutscene done, which is basically an aerial shot of one or two city blocks filled with these NPCs just looking at their phones, and then it just slowly zooms in to the third-person view of Eli. Then I want a shot of the half-transformed Silas Kane in the security feed. All of this will become much more clear when I actually get to it. It's very difficult to explain with just the visions that I have in my head, but once I get to these sprints, then it will become much more clear what I am intending to make it. Then I also want a shot of Eli walking through a street full of these phone NPCs, the addicted NPCs, basically. And then for the audios, I just want the trailer to start with an ambient hum, which is also the opening cutscene. And then you got with a lot of notification sounds in the background, obviously, right? And then after that, I just want to slowly ease into much more dramatic trailer-like audio. Then, next is how I'm going to divide this into sprints. first of all, in the upcoming sprint, I will be finishing the home base, but I'll go into that a bit more later. Then for the surroundings sprint, which is basically the few city blocks around the spawn for the opening cutscene so that it doesn't look bare. Then I want a server sprint where I do the exterior of the abandoned variant server room and that little bit of interior that I talked about. Then the addicted sprint where I model the few character models for the addicted citizens. And then the monster sprint, basically the same but for a different kind of NPC. Then the OS sprint where I kind of do the custom OS part that I was planning to finish before the Steam page release. Then I have the filming sprint where I will take the screenshots, take the videos, do the cutscenes, etc. And then finally the editing and release sprint, which is where I will edit my trailer, write the description, edit the screenshots, etc. And by the end of it, release the Steam page. Not a full game yet, obviously, but it's just so that I have a page up and running. Then finally the planning. I will be starting off with the home base sprint. After that, I will do both character modeling sprints. The next 2 weeks, I will be doing a bit more environment building with the server room sprint and the surrounding sprint. Following that, the last technical sprint of this roadmap is the OS sprint, and then come the filming and the editing and release sprints. And then I am planning to finish this little stage and get to my milestone of releasing my Steam page on October 4th of this year. This is not a final date, but this is my personal deadline that I am trying to go and achieve. But this is not a guarantee. Then I also have a first version of Eli. This is not final. I downloaded this base character model off of the internet, and I first of all, he was first wearing a shirt, a little blouse underneath this sweater. Took that away, made sure the skin underneath looked just about right. Then I added some dirty spots, especially right here with the sleeves to the sweater, and I am reconsidering these pants and these shoes. And then I also want to see if I can change the hairstyle somehow and maybe add some facial hair. But this is version 1, I guess. And this is not part of a sprint, but along the way, if I have some time left or am very frustrated with whatever I was working on then, I will get to it. And this is just a longer goal, which also needs to be finished before that Steam page release. And now let's take it over to Trello. Now, as you can see, the ticket for altering the base model is still not finished, which I just showed you. It's still very much a work in progress, which means that it will stay here kind of as a reminder to myself for whenever I look at this Trello board to just finish it up, or at least work on it a little bit and get further so that I don't forget about it. Then for the next sprint, I am this time not going to show you in Trello because it's right here. It's the final home base sprint, and that's right here. It's this one. So I want to put the textures on the home base exterior. As you saw 2 weeks ago, it's still just plain white and gray. That's not a good house. Then I want to find a better prop for the desk chair because the current one I have I am not very satisfied with. Then I want to also get a better laptop prop because once again the one that I have isn't very great. Then I also want to look into how difficult it is to texture the beer bottles that I made myself and texture them myself. Or if that's not possible, then I want to just find a brown glass texture and apply that to the beer bottle. Then I also want to find, once again, a good sitting down animation, not a just idle sitting animation, but a going from standing to sitting animation. And that was it for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and I will talk to you again in the next 2 weeks. Goodbye.